Hello, Taurus. Welcome to your September reading. We're doing love readings for September, but they are not romantic readings necessarily. They're self-love readings. Our focus is going to be using a series of questions to help us better understand how to love ourselves more and to improve our connection with spirit. So I'm going to use a variety of decks. I do want to say that if what you're looking for is more of a romance, twin flames, divine, masculine, feminine, soulmate type of reading, there are excellent readers on YouTube. There are so many others that will be posting videos about romantic love and relationships to others. And I'm not saying that none of that will come up in this reading. It's hard to say, but our focus is going to be a series of questions for Spirit to help guide us on how to love ourselves better, how to support ourselves and our connection to Spirit better in September as we continue our journey of personal growth. So, having said that, I hope that you'll stick around. I think so far the readings I've been doing have been really insightful and quite a bit of useful information coming through for all the signs. We're using a variety of decks. Did I say this is Crow Indigo Intuitive Tarot? I don't know if I did, but it is. And this is a general reading. I'm going to show you now the decks we'll be using. If there isn't resonance for you in this reading, then, it's possible that it's just not for you. Don't try to kind of make it fit like that glass slipper in Cinderella. Okay, Taurus? This is the Mythic Tarot. This deck is over 30 years old, and I don't think you can buy it anymore, but there is maybe a new version of it that is available on Amazon. You can check for that. It uses imagery from mythology. And then we have the Illuminated Tarot, and that is by Caitlin Keegan. You may be able to find this on Amazon. I found it at Anthropology. Then we have the Thoth Tarot. This is, if you can see him, it won't focus. This is similar to standard tarot, but it's a little bit different, so we have a guidebook we can consult for some of the deeper meanings. They're slightly different. Major Arcana, there are no kings. This you can also find on Amazon, though this one I've had for a long, long time as well. This is the Animal Spirit, Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck from Kim Kranz with beautiful art that she does. And then we have the last oracle deck we'll use, which is this Oracle of Mystical Moments by Katrin Weltstein. Okay. Yeah, and then we'll pull one of these Making Magic cards at the end. Okay. So I'm going to shuffle 3 times. We're looking for 3 cards. If nothing jumps out, we'll take the 3 off the top. Our first questions are, what does Taurus need to focus on this month? What does Taurus's subconscious want to say to him or her that is being ignored? And how can Taurus be more true to themselves in September? Let's see. Third. Reading for Taurus for September. Okay. 1 came out. 2 of Cups. This is, what does Taurus need to focus on this month? Something to do with relationships after all. What does Taurus's subconscious want to say? What does your subconscious want to talk to you about that you're ignoring? It's the Lovers. And how can Taurus be more true to themselves in September? And it's the Ace of Wands. All right. That's good stuff. So, what do you need to focus on? 2 of Cups is a partnership. Could be a romantic partnership. The imagery on these cards certainly is, this is all mythology based. It's beautiful stuff. And I haven't seen the more recent release, but I imagine it's similar. But here we have, the image doesn't, in a lot of the decks, the image is clearly, two people coming together in a partnership. And I don't really get that from this card today, Taurus. So let's see what else it could be. It is about partnership and unity, connection. Could be the beginning of a relationship, They're just meeting here. They're not all wrapped in each other's arms because they're just coming together and they're saying, oh, look, we both have the same cup. Shall you have some of mine and I'll have some of yours? It could be about a reconciliation, right? It could be that this is a couple, but they are presently estranged. There's something about this partnership that, of a particular partnership, Taurus, that you are meant to be focusing on this month. And we'll see as the reading evolves what more we get. But what the subconscious wants me to talk to you about here, what Spirit is saying your subconscious wants you to pay attention to, is represented by the card of the Lovers. Now, this obviously could be a connection between two people that is romantic, that is physical. It also speaks to partnership, absolutely. It can, as opposed to just the simple meaning of coming together with a lover, it can speak to a need to make choices in love. Okay? That you need to make a choice in love, that you need to make a choice between love and work, that a decision needs to be made. This card is interesting because we have the man, he has the golden apple, she has a cup, she's waiting, she's got the love, she's waiting with the love. He's got this golden apple, this material focus on them. He's looking, it's hard to tell, but it looks like he's looking at his wealth instead of looking at her and her cup full of love. She has justice on her side there, you see. And there is the world appears here. The Empress with the world in her hand, maybe. It's interesting. So there may be some reconciliation. There may be a partnership that you are focusing on and you're making choices. It could be a new relationship and there's some conflict between work and love. Maybe there was a separation here because of a focus on work instead of love. Maybe one of you had to move because of a job. That's interesting. This third one, how can Taurus be more true to themselves in September? And we have the Ace of Wands. We have this fire, big fire. He has the world again. The world as a tarot symbol is about completion of a cycle, right? Can you see? Is it focusing at all? Yeah. You can see this guy has the world in his hand. And here, so this is the Emperor and the Empress, right? And here, the Empress is there. Focus. And she has the world in her hand. And then we have him coming in the Emperor in his purple robe, and he has the world in his hand. So there's some sort of completion here, and it may be the completion of a separation, the completion of this time apart, or it could be the completion of a partnership. I'm not sure. So the Ace of Wands, back to the Ace of Wands here. The question is, how can Taurus be more true to themselves in September? And this card is bringing an energy of creation, inspiration. It can also bring desire. So maybe it is, you can be more true to yourself if you're following your desires in regard to making these choices about this partnership. I think that's probably what I'm seeing. It can also represent an uprush of creative energy, right? So maybe what you need, Taurus, to be true to yourself this month is to embrace your creative side. Maybe you're creating some art. Maybe you're creating a new foundation. Maybe you're creating a whole new life. I don't know. It's hard to tell. But I do find it very interesting that we have here the Empress and the Emperor with their symbol of completion in their hands. We'll have to see where this goes, Taurus. This is really interesting already. We have 3 more questions, and we're going to use the Thoth deck for these 3 questions. These 3 questions start, I'm going to shuffle 3 times, and then we'll take them off the top if nothing jumps. These 3 questions start with the question of what does Spirit need from you, Taurus? We're always asking Spirit to bring us things, to guide us toward things. What does Spirit need from you? Another one. All right. First question, what does Spirit need from you, Taurus? Oh, defeat. 5 of Swords. And again, this is the Thoth Tarot, so we're gonna get into the deeper subtleties of what these cards mean, because it's not the same as a standard tarot. Your second question in this batch, what should Taurus avoid in September? And we have the Queen of Swords energy here. This is what you're meant to be avoiding. Okay. And then we have, what should you be grateful for, Taurus? Here we have the 7 of Pentacles, 7 of Discs in this, and it's titled Failure. So that's interesting. Let's dive in, huh? Let's understand these a little better, because it's a little confusing. For the question of what Spirit needs from you, Spirit needs the 5 of Wands energy, defeat. So what does that mean? Is this, I'm not wands, I'm sorry, swords. Did I say wands? 5 of Swords. And in the Thoth Tarot, we have the light and the shadow aspects. We have purpose, instinct, and qualities. These are the defining guideposts for each energy. So for defeat, it is a passive suffering from negative experience. Its purpose is to recognize your own limits. The light aspect is to understand the correlations that lead to results, to how your intention impacts the outcome. The shadow side is that there's harm here in this, staying in this situation. And the quality here is that harm could be worse. It could become worse if you stay. So what is Spirit saying? Spirit doesn't need you to suffer. Spirit's not going to ask you to suffer. There are lessons that come from suffering, but that's not what I'm getting here. What I'm sensing is the message for you, Taurus, is that you need to recognize your limits. You're working to make this partnership or this reconciliation. You're trying to make this work. The indication here is that there's some completion to that cycle, and that you need to focus now on being creative and creating something new. And Spirit is saying, I need you to stop suffering. You've given it a very, very good run. You've tried very hard, but this situation is so harmful to you, and I need you to stop. I need it to end. So maybe it's, coming in under this energy of either a new relationship. It's warning you of some patterns that you have that you're bringing into that relationship that need to change. If it's talking about a reconciliation, it seems to be saying don't. I don't know. I guess we'll see what comes up next. But that's what Spirit needs from you. Spirit needs from you to recognize your limits and to remove yourself from a situation that's causing you harm. It has to do with a partnership, but again, this doesn't necessarily mean it's a romantic partnership. It could be a job you're in. It might be. So what's this card about here? We have your next question, which is, what do you need to avoid? What are you meant to be avoiding during September? Spirit is guiding you to avoid the Queen of Swords energy. Again with the swords, huh? Let's see. Oh. This is about, kind of this cutting intellect we have a lot of times. And, it's very interesting. The page that I have is missing for the Queen of Swords in the Thoth guidance. So let's look at her from the perspective of Standard Tarot and see what intuition fills in there in the gaps for us. This is what you're meant to be avoiding, which is kind of this relentless pushing, using your mental energies and fighting, and not fighting like bickering, but like using all your strength, every ounce of your essence to keep fighting the good fight, to keep going, essentially is the sense I get here. And maybe not, I don't know how to say this. You have in your mind this image of what is right, how things are supposed to look. And it's as if you are actively fighting to keep things looking a certain way, when the only way that they continue to be that way is because of all the energy you're dumping into it. And that is harming you, right? I mean, can you see that? This fighting, it's noble. You're trying to do something really, really important, what appears to be really important anyway. You're trying to sustain something, but it's really draining, and now to the point that it's causing harm. And so whatever that is, this relationship, this job that you're in that's just not good, this family relationship maybe, this partnership, because I'm sensing now this isn't a new relationship, this is something that exists. And it might not be a person relationship, it might not be like a romantic relationship, might not be that at all. But there may be, it may be somebody wanting a reconciliation, but it's not going to change. You're still going to be putting in all of the energy to try to sustain it, and it's going to be harming you more and more, is the message I'm getting here. Let's look at this one. The next question, and the one that this is answering, is what should you be grateful for? And the answer is failure. So I'm hoping we do have that page in the book, because it would be curious. I can sense that there are valuable lessons to be learned in failure. But I don't want to misspeak here. I want to take a look at the guidance from the Thoth perspective. This card has an instinct of inner emptiness. The purpose is no more effort. All capital has been exhausted and lost, and that's it. That's all. So it's a realization that I have spent everything I have to spend, financially, emotionally, and I have failed. It has failed, not I have failed. Let me correct that. You have not failed. The situation has no future. The situation is going nowhere. And the confrontation here with your fear and the fear of those around you is the light aspect, okay? The darker the shadow, I shouldn't say darker, the shadow aspect is these timeless obstacles that never go away. And you keep thinking that it's going to change. The quality of the card is to wait, which is counter to everything else that's been said. But it's saying wait. the value isn't apparent yet. There is a value. There's a guidance here to stop, right? This thing you're meant to avoid is continuing to dump all of your energy into this partnership. What Spirit needs is for you to stop staying in a situation that's harming you. Let it go. And what you can appreciate, what you can be grateful for, is that it is clear now. It is clear now that this is the situation. It is clear now that this job is not the job for you, that this partnership is not the one for you, that this reconciliation isn't meant to happen. That's what it's saying, Taurus, that's what you can be grateful for. You're not wondering, you're not doubting, you're not unsure if you've done enough. You have done enough. You've done everything you could. It's not going to happen. It's not working. And you don't need to keep carrying that pain and that harm that it's doing. Okay, so let us look next at the next question, which is, what lesson does Taurus need to work on this month? During September, what does Taurus need to work on? What is your lesson to work on this month, Taurus? I'm going to take 2 cards. That's one. Oh, that's too many. Just one more. One more shuffle. Oh, come now. This deck only has 52 cards. Okay. So there's overlay. So we have the Queen of Hearts, the hearts being cups, but this card is also the Empress. Creator, the mother, the one who gives birth to new, the seat of courage and compassion and support. And this is the 6 diamonds. And let me just see if that has an extra meaning here. I think it may just be a 6 of Pentacles, which is the sharing. But let's see if we have any overlay. No. So the 6 of Diamonds, which is charity, harmony, cooperation. So what's your lesson? You are mother. You are creator. You are supporter. You are all of this, and you have been, and you will be. And even as things change, that doesn't change. And our Empress energy also carries with it a responsibility to nature. But I think in this case, what I'm seeing is this nurturing quality and this ability to share and support. You know, you're sharing a table here, bringing the feast out for others. Your lesson, Taurus, is you don't lose that. That's still you, right? It's still you. And maybe you've been struggling through this giving it all to the partnership. And you're worried that if you aren't in that structure, that this won't be you, this generous person who is giving and sharing. But there's an echo of the creativity, the invitation here from Spirit. How are you more true to yourself this month, Taurus? You're more true to yourself this month by opening yourself to that creative inspiration again, that passion, and this fecund kind of abundance of the feminine nurturing and compassion is only fueled by that return to your creative self. All the energy you've been putting into these 2 cards, this space here, can be freed up by accepting and being grateful for the ending. Because now there's a flow here from your Your creative side starts to wake up again and allows you to create new, which allows you to share with others. That's the lesson I'm seeing for you, Taurus, that you need to allow yourself to transition back to who you were in some way, back to being in touch with that flow of creative. The next question, and it should be quite an interesting situation here with this read so far. The next question is, what do you need to let go of in September, Taurus? What do you need to let go of? Is it this partnership? Is it this job? Whatever this is that's draining you? I'm going to shuffle 3 times. This is the Wild Unknown. It's too many cards. Well, it's only 2 cards. I guess we could do that. I guess the Spirit has a notion as to what it is very quickly. This is the Kim Cran's Wild Unknown. And I was only wanting 1 card. 2 fell out, so we'll take them. And we will consult the book to see what the deeper levels of meaning are here for you, Taurus. But this question for Spirit is, very specifically, what needs to be let go of in order for you to love yourself better? What do you need to let go of, Taurus, in September in order to love yourself better? And we have coming out here 2 strong earth energies, the spider and the snake. So I'm going to find the spider first. This very good, solid foundation of the grounding energy of earth. And I think that's a nice support to your lesson work for the month, to just get that read from Spirit for you. So Spider is the creator of prosperity through life work. And wow, I mean, it just echoes exactly this creator energy from the Empress, this Queen of Hearts, the creator, right? When your energy of Spider is aligned, you're not rushing, you're not forcing, right? This forcing, this oh, I'm so tired, I'm trying so hard, it's taking everything out of me to create this space, this relationship, this partnership, this job result that needs to happen. When you're in Spider, it doesn't feel like that at all. There is no forcing, there's no pushing, it doesn't exhaust you, it doesn't tire you out. You don't become impatient to get to the result that you're trying to reach. You just are. You just create. You're in the flow. And you're enthusiastic about your life. You appreciate just even the small things around you, Taurus. And I think that part of what you need to let go is that sense of having to force, having to push, feeling exhausted because you're trying so hard to control and to make something happen instead of just letting the natural beauty unfold out of your creative flow. The second card that came out here in regard to the question of what you need to let go, Taurus, in September in order to love yourself more is the snake. Now, the snake is a guardian of unawakened magic and creative potential. So even if you have in the past felt that you were creative, Spirit is saying there's so much more you haven't tapped yet. And you haven't been able to because you've been forcing this. You've been putting all of your energy, all of your life essence into maintaining this partnership, this job, this relationship. And when you let that go, when you move on from that experience, there's this untapped potential within you, the creative flow of just letting it happen and not forcing it, not trying to control it, is followed up by this card of the snake, which says there's just a myriad more things you're capable of. Your creativity is just waiting to astound you, Taurus. So when this energy is in balance, you feel prosperous and creative, you feel charismatic, you are charismatic. And when you're out of balance, you start a creative project, you never really finish it. There's like a long, shelf full of half-done things in your art room. And how do you get there from where you are? The spirit is saying there needs to be some quiet time for you, some meditation, maybe some yoga practice would help. The snake, it's the symbolism from Kundalini yoga. So the snake of the energy that coils up the spine, and through yogic practice, you can get in touch with that and remove blockages in your chakras and start to move that flow. That may speak to some of you that have been recently inquisitive about Kundalini yoga. Spirit is saying, yes, go in that direction. Taurus, follow that. Make time for you. You've done enough. You've given it an absolute, beyond a doubt, you have tried to make this work, and it's drained you so much, and there's so much waiting for you, so many wonderful things that are waiting. And this untapped potential is lying there. So what do you need to let go of in order to love yourself more? What I see here is that you need to let go of trying to control everything, Taurus. And I know that's not necessarily an easy message. You're stubborn sorts. I have many Tauruses, Tauri. I'm not sure what the plural is there. There are many a Taurus in my family and in my circle, and I know how this goes. You're very practical. You get shit done. And there's a certain amount of controlling involved in that, right? But what Spirit is saying is let it go, right? You don't need to control everything. It's harming you. It's only going to harm you more the more you try. What you need to let go is that need to control, the need to know the outcome. What you need to embrace is your creativity and going with the flow, letting it happen, and look at the beauty that results when you just let it happen. I'm going to pull a card now for our last question. This card is going to come from the Oracle of Mystical Moments. We'll shuffle 3 times and take the card off the top if nothing jumps out for us, Taurus, for September for you. Something did jump out. Morning Dew Girl. Number 13. Morning Dew Girl. I'm sorry I can't get a really clear focus for you guys today. Yeah. It comes, it goes. Morning Dew Girl. Let's see what she has for us. The question is, how can Taurus best support themselves in September? What can you do, Taurus, to support yourself best through this transition and the lessons and all of the work that needs to be done? All of the letting go that needs to happen in September. Face your fears, awareness, and consciousness. That's the message of Morning Dew Girl. The woman on this card collects fat raindrops into a basket of leaves. She's called Morning Dew Girl, and she symbolizes the receiving and absorption of all worries and fears. She invites us to start sharing our own feelings and worries. We can collect them and deal with them instead of hiding them deep inside. She stands resolute and strong, ready to face her fears. While fear can be as powerful as a river, once confronted, it may turn out to be as small as a drop of dew. So it seems that you are aware that this job or this relationship isn't serving you anymore, that you've done everything you can, and that you need to release it and follow this new creative surge of energy into creating so that you can share with the world, with your family, with your community, and that the way you do that is to let go of all this controlling and simply embrace all that is good about you, connect with spirit, make time for quiet meditation and yogic practice, which will support you in your changes, and let your fears go, okay? Because it's scary. Change is scary. Of course it is, Taurus. But on the other side of this transition is such amazing beauty and creative production and connection with spirit, better than you've ever known. That's truly the sense I get here. And the Morning Dew Girl is reminding you that how you support yourself through that transition is not to hide your fears away, but to sit down and have tea with them. To say, yes, I'm scared. I acknowledge I am scared. Why? Why am I scared? I'm scared because it will be different. Because even though this is painful, because this is hurting me, I know it though. I'm so familiar with it. And I don't know what's on the other side. Sure, maybe I could be happy, but it's something entirely new, and I've been doing this for so long. I don't know if I can do new again. To sit down with that fear, give it a big hug, and say, thank you so much. Thank you, fear, because I know you're just trying to help me. I know you're trying to keep me safe. But I'm okay, and you can go. And release those fears. And if you can't do that alone, because certainly it's not an easy thing to do, especially if some of these are very old fears or very big fears. Big rivers of fear, like the book was saying. Find someone to help you. See a therapist. Try 2 or 3 different therapists. See which one feels best for you. Find a trusted friend. Warn them in advance that you've got some really big stuff to talk about. Find the support you need. Because on the other side of facing these fears, turning them from rivers into little raindrops, harmless little raindrops, is this fantastic creation that just flows from you, Taurus. There's so much waiting to come out into the world. There's so much you can share, the support you can provide to those around you, to your community, to the world. And it's on the other side of dealing with those fears. So that's how you can best support yourself in September, Taurus. Let's look at one of these. We've got these Making Magic cards. I'll just shuffle 3 times. If nothing jumps, we'll take the one on the top. This is just a little last parting message from Spirit for you, Taurus. What do we have for Taurus? Last message for Taurus for the month of September. Time to shine. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Creates the energetic resonance for golden opportunities. What wonderful supporting energy for you from Spirit. It's saying, take up that wand. Glow, you glorious self. Go out there and share. Share what you have, what you've been pouring into this partnership or this job. Let it shine. Let it shine. You don't need to be all weighed down anymore. Let it go. Yeah? That's a pretty great reading. I know you have some work. I know it might seem daunting what's ahead of you in September. But what I get is this really positive outcome for you, Taurus. Once you get through this process, and it really does feel like you're going to make some progress on this process in September. You might not finish it in September. It's some pretty big stuff to get through. But I think you can get a good start on that in September. You're going to be feeling so much better by the time October arrives. I'll be curious to see. I'd love to have feedback from all of you. If this resonates with your situation, if you find at the end of September that it's started to progress this way, I would love to see that. Thank you for the likes, shares, subscribes. Thank you for those of you that have joined us over on Facebook in the group there. I really do take such pleasure in seeing the community grow. We've only been at this a couple of weeks, and I have wanted to get some messages out there and help folks. You know, this isn't me, this is Spirit providing the guidance that's needed, and the more subscribers we have, the larger the channel grows. the further the reach and the message gets to the people that need it. And I really do appreciate you all. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful September. I hope it is really a great time for you and that you thoroughly enjoy getting in touch with your creativity more. I send you much love and many blessings. Bye.